ATS, the
Zoliki.
Anime North,
Okay.
and the Zoliki tournament. Yeah, this guy's everywhere.
Yeah. I remember meeting him at the Silky tournament very briefly.
Yeah, he casted in your wake, considering
I had to go home and pass out.
pansy out on me.
Yep.
So Braum, okay, so Braum being banned. That's what I was gonna say. Is I think
Yeah, no,
Braum
it's
is
true,
better.
man. It's like Jace isn't the powerhouse down there. Jace isn't the champion permaband. It's Braum.
Yeah.
That interaction too with the triple strike, you know, from the Jace W early on, like, God, Braum passive does so much damage early game.
Yeah. Now, where is... So, I'm losing my mind. Did I not see first time Shaco in here as well?
I think he might have got... I think he was the guy that was subbing,
Okay.
and then they got their actual player back in, so...
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Draven Vagar, again, of course, the target bans. Don't want to give him that comfort, you know. That's how these teams play. It's not so much that they're taking away the best chain bans, it's making the other team feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's how they get that snowball like they did last game. But the Jace ban coming out as well, so... Same bands coming out of what was Blue Team last time. And obviously a little bit of adaptation. And the first pick LeBlanc, okay, interesting. That's really brave, actually.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, she's going to be coming out, and probably, you know, it's really hard to counterpick a LeBlanc. I remember way back in, like, Season 1.
Yeah, there's no counter pick, it's just safe picks, you know?
Exactly. Or just really strong pushers.
Yeah.
She struggles so hard in lane if you can get somebody that can push. Karthus can definitely pull it off, but he's going to be very susceptible if LeBlanc can get on top of him, which, how do you avoid LeBlanc getting on top of you for the most part? But the other thing, though, is if you can dodge, or if you can stay out of range of her her jump, most LeBlancs these days are maxing E. So if you can stay out of range of that, you should be okay. Sorry, W, that's the jump. That's right. My bad.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, it does give her that wave clear potential too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see this Elise pick, though. I was kind of questioning the Kha'Zix, since obviously he did get nerfed a little bit, but Docta is an insane Elise player, man. Insane. I'm fanboying. I remember these guys from the tournament last year.
Yeah.
Crazy Elise. He played it the entire way through, and like his dodges with his rappel and everything like that, crazy.
Disgusting.
I'm really excited to see this.
Alright, we're gonna have to pay this guy some money just to see him pull out these ridiculous mechanics. Now, Urgot was being hovered over there. I highly doubt that's going to be the case, but these two could probably be in there. Nocturne, you know, anytime I see, so if game 1, you know, when you're moving on to game 2, same team versus same team, why would you choose something that you didn't first, or something different than what you chose at a high pick last game? You know what I mean? So, last game we saw Lee Sin was in the jungle, and Vi was in the jungle. Yeah. Both of them are available. Why would you choose something different?
I think they obviously they could be going for a different team comp.
Yeah.
Because things were banned out. I think Docta might just want to, you know, play as Elise though and show off.
Fair enough.
You know, because they really didn't have much trouble asking, and obviously Lee Sin a little bit more of a more flexible jungle than Vi. Not quite reliant on getting snowball. He's always useful. So good pickup from Blue Team. They've got 3 very strong picks to start.
Oh yeah, and OMG I got ganked as well. He's been all over the LoL scene in Canada.
Is he a Rumble player?
Actually, he is. Yeah, he plays a lot of Jace, and he plays a lot of Rumble.
Yeah. So it really does look like they're going for like kind of a kiting kind of wombo comp. You know how they have like the Elise and the Rumble and everything like that. The wall from Karthus. So that could be the reason that you did go for the Elise pick over Lisa.
Yeah. Not to mention, actually, sorry, and I don't know why I'm just realizing this now, but OMG I got ganked. He played in the LAN ETS tournament, and he played in the Anime North tournament as well, and at both of them, he was saying how he's not a top lane player, but he has to play top lane for some of these teams because he plays with top tier players, and like, why would you strip them of their main role? I mean, he's a top tier player as well, but he doesn't play meta champions. Like, for the top lane, he plays mostly Rumble and Jace, which aren't really in the 5s meta for top lane anyways.
Yeah, it really depends on the dynamic of the team, right? It could be because it's like that teamwork, that synergy, or maybe he just wants to play with his friends, so he's gotta you know, take the short straw and go top lane. Nobody likes top lane, man. I know that sucks.
Yeah, it's actually I love top lane. I don't know. I like the 1v1 feel of it, but then as soon as you get ganked, if you're in the middle of like a heated battle and then you get ganked, I get so salty. Oh my god, it's like kosher salt too. It's not like table salt. It is
Extra
real
course, yeah.
real expensive. It's like a block of salt, like salt horse lick.
So
Frickin'.
you can tell by their team, they have such like they just wanna kite the map around. You know, I was kind of interested in seeing that Olaf pick because it would have given them some sort of stick power.
Yeah.
Renekton, he obviously picked for lane. He wants to be able to just take that rumble out. Again, the ignite versus the teleport. So I don't think that Purple Team will do the 4v0 because you saw how hard they won lane phase last game.
Yeah.
That they could just, you know, kind of leave the rumble up on an island and just be like, you know, man, you just gotta deal with it. Go 0-4, we'll win.
Yeah.
You know, get your triumphant rise.
Yeah, and you know what?
You
It's
already had it actually. But.
it's kind of interesting too to note about this that the biggest factor. So all of these guys could hop in the solo queue and be matched up exactly like this because
Yeah,
they're all pretty well the same rated.
For sure.
But because they're in a team setting, it all comes down to communication and teamwork. That's the team that's going to win, is who has the best communication and teamwork. You're going to see more warding coming out of them,
Yep.
more grouping coming out of them, and just generally good play setups. One thing to note, and I know I've been talking about him this whole time, but OMG I got ganked. Every team I see him play on, even if it's throw-togethers, like at LAN ATS, he played with a bunch of guys from Quebec, and he's from Toronto, right? But every team that he throws together, they always seem to come out with amazing communication, regardless
cool.
of how well they practice.
That's really cool.
So this, I mean, he's leading the charge, and that, I think, above all, is the best skill to have coming into this.
I totally agree. It's things like people who say the biggest difference in any role, switching from solo queue to competitive, is the jungler. You know what I mean? And when you're a jungler, obviously you're the one making the final decision, but your team is helping you play in a way that you're not used to in solo queue. You know what I mean? Like you're making those early plays bot lane where you know you need to snowball it. In solo queue, you're just kind of like, what team has the best lane to gank just to like get me going and get us ahead? In competitive play, it's where the objectives need to be taken, right?
Yeah.
So we need to take the bot tower so we can rotate and get a drag kind of thing. And if you have great communication as a team, as opposed to just 2 or 3 individuals, it makes such a big difference. And you saw how well they snowballed it, you know? They got one slight advantage, and they just kept ganking that lane. They got that Jace going, and they walked them over, you know?
Yeah.
Walked over them, rather.
And Jace, you know, and it's funny, too. So I mentioned that Jace is... He's not really in the top tier meta right now. I mean, he's kind of making a comeback, but in terms of top lane, not really all the way there yet. But in the Toronto scene in particular, there are so many friggin' Jace players.
Funny, yeah,
it's ridiculous. There's so many of them. And actually, not just Toronto, but Canada in general. There's so many Jace players. Even in Vancouver, I've seen some Vancouver tournaments.
I know.
Jace is just everywhere. He's such a hotly contested character. And I don't doubt that he's either going to be banned or picked in every game that we see today. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a
calling
bold
it.
prediction. Let's see how it pays off, Cotton. He's a really high skill cap champion, and I think that's cool that Canada players seem to identify with that. You know what I mean? That's a great sign for us. So
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that's interesting to note as well that I'm noticing here, obviously Kog'Maw kind of stands out to me.
Yeah.
He's making his way back a little bit,
Yeah.
but one of his big problems, the same as Vayne, is he needs to be protected. He does not have the best team to protect him.
yeah,
But-
not in terms of like a dive, but in terms of being able to kite.
Yeah.
They have a great team for that, and Kog'Maw does get that range. So if he really is able, like if they play it well, he'll have the protection. If they don't, he's screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, not to mention they have a lot of damage on that team.
Yeah,
Karthus, Rumble, in terms of top lane, he's not very, he's tanky, but he mostly just shells out a ton of damage.
He's no Mundo, yeah.
Especially if they use all their mobility to get to the back line. That's not a lot of mobility to get out of Rumble that remains. So I think it's a good choice. I think it's a good team comp. We'll see how it all plays out. Obviously, we're going into game 2 here. And if Zolg can win this team, or win this game, they will go up to 3 points, the best possible point score, obviously, that you can lead with. 2-0. I'm excited.
Yep. Pardon me? Zings are... Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, Zings RLG in 5th place is best.
Things are actually cute.
So, obviously, Kog'Maw and Nami has been seen a lot of play in OGN. They synergize very well in that kind of kitey kitey playstyle, which is what Kog'Maw really wants to do when he has people running at him and he can just shred them before they have a chance to, you know, even get on him. And to be honest, with the Renekton pick, it is really up to LeBlanc because Renekton late game is just going to be a wall. He won't really be able to get on the Kog'Maw that well with all of that slow, that CC, that peel. It's going to be on maybe Morgana and Lee Sin to hit their skill shots, but LeBlanc to really put the pressure on Kog'Maw to prevent him from being able to just free cast.
Yeah. By the way, I want to point this out. Nami, them hips though. Jesus.
I wish it was the new skin. I haven't actually seen that one be played yet.
And actually, the LeBlanc skin that we see here, favorite skin in the whole game.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Was that the that wasn't the Halloween one, right? That's just the one of the normal ones. What was the Halloween one?
Oh, I don't like it because it looks cool.
Oh, okay. Jesus.
So we're aware. But yeah, we're gonna be.
I think it looks cool. That's why I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely would love. For the cool factor, I would love to see a ton of people cosplay that at the next Anime North, if you could, please.
Would you like me to cosplay it?
Nope. No gender bends.
I'll get some help from.
It's just not as cool.
There are so many cool parties, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like 1 out of every 3 girls is a cool party.
At Anime North?
Yeah.
I saw like one.
There's so many. They just some of them just totally half-assed it with a daisy in your hair and like a
Yeah, that's it.
fireboard.
Okay, so maybe.
That's it.
Okay, so that's not a.
That is so common.
That's bull. That's so bull. Alright.
Seems like they're saying Cartus is bugged, but I'm not sure. I saw something on Reddit where it's like, okay, they're just kidding. But there was a bug on Reddit about every time Cartus queued, it increased his CS score, so there'd be like 7-minute 200 CS Cartus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But did he get the gold for it or no?
No, it just made him look like a god.
Now, I don't do any kind of like coding or anything like that, so I have no idea why that would happen. It just sounds really ridiculous.
Rito, please.
Now, Kog'Maw did not start with his ultimate, so he can't push check,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But they are warding a ton right now, and both teams kind of taking the same route here. No wards, though, no defensive wards from both sides, so they're not going to be able to get any counterplays off. But it looks like they're going to start out the same way. I don't know if this was calculated, if they talked to each other beforehand, but it looks like they're making almost the exact same moves as they go about this.
It looks like Fifth did go to drop that ward over so they can scout the lane, see if it's going to be a 2v1 or not. But like I said, I anticipate it just being another straight-up lane game because they did so well last game.
Yeah, and you can see LeBlanc here actually kind of a smart thing coming from that direction. Not only is it safe, but it might lead the enemy team to believe that that your jungle started at that buff. Although she did come in really early, and she started with her W, so it would seem really fishy. I doubt that Mr. Jiggly is going to actually communicate that to his team.
I'm really excited to see how Mr. Jiggly plays this lane because it is, like, he does have exhaust, so he is somewhat safe.
Uh-oh. Nice turnaround here. First time Draven, though, takes a beating. Kog'Maw with that range, way too strong, started out with it as well. And Nami obviously started out with Bubble, so turned things around there very nicely. Morgana, though, damn, just throwing out those Qs.
Yeah. Signature and Normalize will have some advantage, obviously, because they do have the sustain. Both teams had to use their health pots. So good trade from them, and they're just trying to get that push, which it looks like it does have. They will get to level first, so well played by them. Taking advantage of their early game power. That level 1, level 2 spike is definitely in their advantage. After that, it's definitely going in the Lucian Morgana advantage, but well played by them.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. I got to point out here,
Oh!
double bubble.
Double bubble.
And not the gum, as they will hit both of those characters and get some damage across. Reacting up in this top lane, by the way, this is kind of like, this is a matchup that you used to see all the time. I think it was like season 3? End of season 3, yeah, you saw this matchup all the time. So, OMG, I got ganked. I'm sure if you played a lot of Rumble back in the day, he's very used to this matchup and he knows how to play it.
Yeah, it is a pretty skill-based matchup, for sure.
Yeah, so throwing out that Flame Spitter, which, as Riot has pointed out, no longer looks like meatballs, which is great. Really good graphics update. Elise, by the way, in the bottom lane, she's looking to go hard.
That does look awesome. I haven't actually seen it.
Because nobody plays Rumble.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so, sorry, I was saying about the LeBlanc lane. It makes a pretty big difference how the Karthus plays early, if he's able to play aggressive. because LeBlanc, like, you could see her playing, the way she was playing, she was forcing the lane back to push against the Karthus. She was using early W's, and if he's able to kind of harass back with his Qs and like land some good skill shots and put her on the back foot, being able to push LeBlanc in that tower obviously is really good.
Oh, here we go. Nice little cocoon to start things off. Flashing forward, Signature with first blood. Same thing that happened last game. Now Wrath is probably going to go down here as well.
Wow.
Normalize picks up that kill, so that bottom lane is going to be super strong. Lee Sin, meanwhile, unfortunately, can't get himself in there. There's the cocoon that goes out, and the slow.
No
Signature
way.
gets an auto attack over the wall. Docta gets
No
right on top.
way.
There's the bubble. White, though, getting dropped here. No flashes available. No repel available either. So they're going to have to back off of this one. But at the very least, they burn flash. Oh, and the repel is available, but not enough.
Oh,
Brutal.
that was close, man.
Yeah.
Good play from White, though. That was a really nice flash by him.
Yeah, I want to point out, by the way, up in that top lane, Rumble was pushed so far back, and he was sitting at 8 CS when he had to teleport. Not a good sign there, and he's going hard here. He's got that flame spitter going. He needs to overheat, though, to exchange well, and just not enough. He's got that Q now coming up, pops the W as well, and gets a really nice exchange off. I cannot play Rumble at all, so seeing that much damage come out, I'm like, really? He's actually capable of doing that?
He's a huge lane bully if you can do it right, for sure.
And I just can't.
My problem is CSing with him. It's always too awkward for me.
Yeah, it's weird. But I don't know.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we've got with lane wise, because a couple things have happened. Obviously, the Bork coming out of Kog'Maw, he's not going to go for that Triforce rush. He's going to try and get the Bork, and that does give him a lot of advantage against Lucian, who went double Dorans. He is going back to buy now, though, so we'll see if he can update it. And then top lane, the double Dorans for Renekton, he really wants to get some advantage against that Rumble. He needs to kind of snowball the lane, otherwise, like we were saying, same kind of thing as last game, actually, where he's playing against someone that's going to outscale him super high late game, right? So if he can somehow kind of make the same impact he did last game, it might make a difference this time.
Yeah, I know OMG I got ganked. Gets dropped on here by Renekton. He's going hard. But that overheated auto attack exchange, so strong here.
Yeah.
And he's staying at that
Even
above
with the
50%.
lane advantage.
He's going to try to fight this one, but he goes through the creeps. There's the ultimate, and Elise steps into the fray here. She's got to go human mode and get that cocoon off. There we go. Finally, but the ignite going down here. Slice, dice, isn't going to be enough. No, he doesn't find OMG I got ganked. But Elise...
He's got it.
Oh no, he goes forward, but he wants to... Oh no! Looking for the ranged attack to stay safe, but in the end, Renekton's going to pull that one off.
That was a misplay big time by Docta.
Oh, for sure. He could have kept the longer range. There's the ultimate from Rumble. Is he going to turn this one around? Oh, with a stun. Not enough. Thank God Flame Spitter keeps going.
Seriously.
Wow.
That was a really good play by Rumble to bait that out. I don't know if you noticed that, but he tanked the creep wave and then like brought the... Oh, good back by White though. White though's playing pretty good this game. Oh. Whoa,
Oh, Karthus. Too
See
real.
ya.
Too real. Smite goes down by the time he dies, but what were you saying there?
The way that Rumble, oh my god, got ganked, played that, pulling, like, he ran into the creep wave, and if Rumble had, or if Renekton had maybe been a little bit more aware, he would have realized that he was getting baited and he was getting pulled into a gank. And you can see from the replay how he look at all those creeps that are hitting them. That's kind of a reason that this fight was so close.
Oh, that's
we can
so
see this fight. Docta doesn't have his abilities, goes for the Q, and it just doesn't do enough damage. The heal from Renekton's Q, keeping him alive and allowing him to come out of that trade. But at the same time, the Rumble did pick up a kill, so, you know, not terrible.
Definitely not. And really good play from Renekton, though. We got, we're saying it's a misplay from Elise, but you gotta admit
for sure.
he baited her forward really well.
He knew the range of his Q perfectly. He was able to turn that around.
And I don't. That's also why I don't play Renekton. I do not play meta champions, that's for sure. And again, these guys are exchanging. You know, one interesting thing, and I hate to say this about a really high tier player like OMG, but he actually doesn't play top lane that well.
Let's look bottom. We got a gank coming in.
Uh-oh. Debox goes on to Signature here. The heal comes off from Nami. Still going hard, though. Debox jumps forward. Is it going to be enough? Exhaust goes down onto LB. And Normalize, interestingly enough, the second choice target does die. Docta steps into the fray here. There's the Rumble ultimate. Not going to do a ton of damage, but Elise will try to repel forward here. She still has Cocoon in the tank. And the repel is going to land. There's the jump forward, and she's got to go into range mode here. There's the cocoon, or there's the just ranged attacks. Picks it up that way instead. Really nicely done. Meanwhile, though, with Elise up in top lane, you may as well take down that dragon.
Yeah. Honestly, that's an okay trade. They are getting the pressure top. They're making Renekton's power spike really not matter that much. You know, they're giving Rumble that early lane advantage, let him get farmed, and if your team does scale better in the late game, as theirs obviously does with the Renekton, the Karthus, the Elise, it's not the worst thing in the world to give up a couple dragons to, you know, get your lane stronger. So, yeah, no, I think that's a fair trade for them, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see that they're going to take this top lane. This is exactly what you're talking about. You got to make sure that you take the advantages as the jungler with objectives, not just where to gank. You got to take those objectives down as well. So after that gank, finished up that turret, now we get to see Rumble kind of unlocked from that top lane if he so chooses. And he's got teleport for himself. It's not up now,
yeah,
but he's got it.
See, that's kind of the only thing from what I was saying about how you kind of want to like give him that lane advantage. I think it might have actually been better in this case since he knew that he probably would get the 1v1 to take an ignite and try and pressure the lane a little bit more instead of relying on that kind of team play that they're trying to do. Because honestly, the way that these games are going, even though it's a higher standard of play, it's not really that kind of super high strategic play. You know what I mean? Where you see every top laner running teleport because of lane swaps or something like that. But yeah, Rumble's in a really good spot, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is able to just kind of keep snowballing the lane and give Renekton a hard time, even though he's down a couple CS. He's strong, man. He's got that giant spell and magic pen coming out. That's pretty big.
Brutal stuff. And Rumble ulting just the minion wave here and gets a little bit of damage done from that turret onto Renekton as well. I gotta point out though, Signature, if you've noticed, he is CSing so well, and he's exchanging with the Draven. Now, he could be way better CS. I mean, take a look at Karthus, 103 to 60. In comes the Nami ultimate though. Elise repels forward, uses that Q, Wrath, has that ultimate popped, and actually he's going to land it. He stays alive, but not that long. Mr. Jiggly with the ultimate, turning things around. Signature now going on to first time Draven. He's going to pop that one to box as well, but he fires that ultimate, will be dodged by the W from LeBlanc, who now is turning things around, and Acadian Surprise gets the damage done, which allows for Karthus to step into the fray now. Meanwhile, top lane, you've got some damage being exchanged as well. In the end, though, that's going to be a really decent exchange. Kind of for both teams, which is tough to say, but I think what did they go, 2 for 2 there?
Yeah.
Or actually, I think it was 2 for 1.
Yeah, it was 2 for 1.
Yeah, so nice job there. By fifth, Rumble almost picking up the Renekton. Jesus, this is nuts.
That was close. See, if he had Ignite, that would have been a kill, but yeah.
Are you telling these guys how to play? Are you saying Ignite would have been the better choice? Yeah, I know, I believe you. I agree.
Rumble's a scary guy, man.
Yeah.
Give him more fire to add to that Q, and you know, don't want to mess with him.
That was like the least impact pun I've ever heard.
I've got some work to do on those. You know, like I gotta step up my freak game.
Ridiculous. Okay, so
I'll work on it by the end of the day. I'll have some better ones.
All right. Okay, so a little bit of a push coming in here from the minions into that mid lane, and you can see everybody walking down mid lane here. Looks like a group is going to start happening for Zolg.
Yeah. Honestly, if I was going to be so bold and call it, I think that they have kind of kited out that mid game to the point where, or that early game to the point where blue side's mid game isn't as strong as they want it to be. You know what I mean? It's not as impactful. They haven't used the Lee Sin as well as they need to. They haven't used the LeBlanc, the Renekton as well as they needed to. And their power spike that they kind of relied on to make big plays and make a difference and affect that late game coming out of red side isn't going to be there. So as we can see them grouping, I mean, that shouldn't really be happening with a late game team comp at 12 minutes into the game, you know? Yeah. So we'll see what they can do. They really need to make some sort of play and stop the bleeding. They need to prevent what happened last game and not allow themselves to get their whole jungle taken over, lose all that that ability to farm, that control over their buffs, that kind of thing. So, yeah, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I want to point out some of these builds coming across here as well. You do have, obviously, the vamps that are being built up from both the 80 carries, and you've got Blade of the Rune King, the choice for Kog'Maw, which pairs up very nicely with his percentage damage and his range that he has in his kit. Lucian, on the other hand, going for Bloodthirster. I think pretty standard stuff from both of these guys. Meanwhile, it looks like a fight might break out here. Bubble getting popped onto the Renekton here, but everybody will back up. Rumble, even preemptively heading down towards that mid lane, is going to take a step back here as well. A lot of the wards, by the way, it's kind of dictating where everybody on the blue side is allowed to go.
Well, I mean, like, you can see how much control red side has over their jungle. They can't go anywhere without being seen. and that just allows them to, over time, gradually choke them out a little bit more and a little bit more, move their wards closer to their base, and because they're safe when they can do it, they know they won't get picked, and they're just able to exert their advantage. And this is where the teleport comes in very handy for the Rumble.
Yeah, not getting picked. League of Legends, one of the only situations where not getting picked is a good thing. I remember when I was 8 and I didn't get picked. The soccer teams. Feels bad, but not getting picked off in League, definitely a good situation to be in. Meanwhile, a lot of tension happening around this mid lane. I don't know which way it's going to go by the looks of things. Like you said, it's red side has amazing wards, but it's being returned. Look at the blue wards on the map now too. Still action in the top though. We can't take our eyes off
Rumble,
it.
oh, he missed it. He missed it.
Starting forest fires, that's about all he was able to accomplish there.
But there's something I'd like to point out with the Kog'Maw. He's going in for it. The ignite. Yeah,
It's enough.
He's gone.
Bye bye.
Oh my God, you didn't get gangs. You just died. Oh, the Karthus ult didn't actually kill Renekton either.
So did Karthus' ult get nerfed or something? Because I'm noticing it's only doing like 150 damage.
Well, the thing is, he has Merc Treads, and because the Karthus didn't actually finish his booster,
Yeah.
he just doesn't have enough raw damage level 1 to get that kill.
Oh, and Elise is going to repel over the wall here. Oh, and the Cocoon misses the Lee Sin, but as predicted
Yep.
from Docta, hits the LeBlanc.
Yep, of course.
Calculated, of course.
All planned.
But they are going to walk away from that one. Not a whole lot going on here. Only really up in that top lane. Blade of the Rune King was finished up. Zonya's being built up for Morgana. Now, I want to point out how much slower pace this game is from last game.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the thing. They instead of going for an early game team comp, it looks like red side, like I say, they're going for that late game comp. Something I wanted to point out about the Kog'Maw, even though he is facing that LeBlanc and it is a scary situation for him being able to finish that Bork at 14 minutes, obviously at 16 now, but he's had that completed for a while. If Nami sticks with him and the LeBlanc focuses the Kog'Maw over Nami, which she should do in a team fight, he has exhaust coming out from Nami, he has the heal coming out from Nami, his heal, and then his Bork. He's really not in any situation to be afraid of the LeBlanc. It's just she doesn't have the M. She doesn't have any sort of burst potential on him.
Oh, speaking of burst potential, this Rumble though, Jesus. And Mr. Jiggly firing out a single spell, and that's going to be the one that nets the kill.
Yeah.
Kill secured.
It's just it's such a big problem because in terms of the way that the team fights are going to play out, they're not going to be able to deal with a Kog'Maw. Unless they get a Renekton in his face and like a great Morgana ult or something like that, they're just going to get kited. And I'm sorry to say, but it's not looking good for blue side.
No, it's definitely not, especially with the 23.3 to 27.3. Is 4K ahead for these guys, and it's only getting worse at this point. OMG, I got ganked, just gets kicked away. And you can see when you have to pop an ultimate that early defensively, even though you've got a turret, this is just rough stuff. And Wrath gets caught out here a little bit, gets a couple of E's thrown his way. Ward going down there as well, and it's going to miss the bush. You know, that's just that's diamond level warding for you right there. If you guys want to take some notes, that is definitely one point that you need to write down.
I can't imagine how annoying it must be for the box. Speaking of which, it's getting told by the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw should always die to LeBlanc, but of course, situation not quite lining up that well. And like you said, she went for Athene's. I don't know if I can agree with that at this point.
Yeah, she was getting pushed in so hard by Karthus, and she wasn't really able to do anything in Snowball with a DFG pick. So, I mean, it's the right decision. It's just it's not the kind of decision you're going to make to win a game.
Lucian gets in there and gets the kill. Kog'Maw in the meantime gets exhausted and almost picks up the kill. There's a Kathian surprise coming out though. He's going to be able to pop and get some damage off. Elise turns things around onto Lucian here. So in the end, it's going to be a 2-for-1 as Nami and Kog'Maw go down here. Docta pulls out the Cocoon. Mr. Jiggly, not that much mana, so he's not going to be able to stick around that long. Morgana with a nice binding though, and Renekton still chasing down Elise here. I don't think he's going to be giving this one up anytime soon, as he does have that gap closer with the slice and dice. Is it going to happen? Oh, he slices through. There's the ignite, and he waits. Repel coming out from Elise. Is this actually going to happen? Will he get away? No. Renekton with the kill. Long chase, though. Really, really long chase.
If LeBlanc had been able to pick those kills up instead of Renekton, it would have been a lot better for blue side. Unfortunately, a Renekton isn't going to do that much, late game. But a pause coming out. So what I wanted to talk about was Sorry, I'm blanking a little bit. What I wanted to talk about was the way that the team fights at this point are going to go. Oh, cool, we got it. Right on. That's awesome. Okay. Sorry, we just had something thrown in. I lost my train of thought.
Yep, Karthus.
Karthus. Oh yeah, sorry. So the box. How annoying must it be to be so good at a champion that isn't played that often, but would be perfect in a situation like this? Vigar, if he got a box down on Kog'Maw, dead. Nothing you can do. There would be the Nami who could build the Chalice upgrade thing that is like a cleanse later, but he'd just be able to one-shot the Kog'Maw, and then he'd be able to turn the entire team fight around. How frustrating must it be to have to play a LeBlanc, which obviously is still a great champion, but he's not doing that well on lane. He's roaming, he's trying to make plays. That would drive me nuts. Like some random champion that's just like not used that often, and you can't actually use it to make the difference in a game where it would be perfect. That just drives me nuts.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting?
I feel bad for him.
When, especially, I found the case is especially true for mid laners, when if you don't get your champion, like if your champion gets banned or picked, the one that you play the most, you go for a champion that accomplishes the same thing that you do with the champion that you play most. Vigar.
I agree.
Vigar, like you said, particularly good at just blowing up one champion at a time and then getting out.
Yeah.
And LeBlanc, why not? I mean, it's pretty darn good at doing the exact same thing. So
the thing is, though, the Vigar would also be able to stop the kite from the whole team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's what they're trying to go for, right? They're trying to get that tidal wave, the Karthus wall and Rumble ult, everything like that. If he was just able to get a perfect ult or a perfect cage in like a jungle fight or something like that, they'd get destroyed. Renekton in the front line, Morgana ult, Lee Sin kick. It would be perfect. So I feel for him, man. I feel for the box.
yeah, that's sad. Actually, what is it? The OGN or the Chinese tournaments where if it's like a best of 5 and then
The blind pick?
and then it's blind pick to make it even right
That
on the
would
fifth
be
game,
sweet, man.
and then everybody just gets what they want.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Thinking about it now, the more that I think about this DeBarks guy, I remember that he is actually from somewhere outside of Toronto, so it's not like he's a player from LA or something like that. He's a local, so a lot of really cool talent coming out of Toronto and the surrounding areas, you know? A lot of like really high level players, including myself, obviously.
Number one
What are you guys
city
doing
in there.
there?
Yeah, we are. We actually do have a really good scene. Speaking of which, speaking of little of cities that do quite well, we're thinking about taking this step forward and seeing who has the best city in Canada. Maybe eventually. We'll see. Hint,
I'm trying to do
hint,
something like
hint.
that with schools, you know?
Mhm.
Like Waterloo's been doing pretty good. That's where a lot of these guys are from. That's actually where I saw them. We did a collegiate tournament and we saw them play Waterloo. They came first. I don't think they lost more than 2 games the entire tournament.
Yeah. It was a 100-game tournament. They played 100 games and they only lost 2.
Why, are you trying to say that Windsor's the best city?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
Windsor.
I was gonna say.
Windsor has okay.
Maybe
and
Dota players.
I'm
I
not
don't
just.
know.
I'm not just saying this because like to toot my own horn. But since I left, oh boy, Windsor. If there's anybody from Windsor watching right now, step that shit up, boys.
Oh,
Come on.
Sean Burns, shots fired.
You just call him Schoenberg. Sean, yeah.
Whatever.
Thanks for
But it's very
Yeah.
Alright, we need some guest analysis
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
Well, so the red team's spraying fire somewhere.
Yep.
But I did want to
Lots of fire. Lots of
jump on
fire.
your point before we get this that the CSL
Yeah.
for StarCraft and Dota. So far, the top 4 teams in both games are all from Ontario.
Wow.
And
Nice,
this is a
man.
worldwide collegiate
That's
tournament,
sick.
and all from Ontario.
Yeah.
So yeah. But here we got the purple magicians attacking the blue guy on a cart. And then the weird masked guy.
There's a lot of magicians in this game.
There's a thing with like a bone mask and it's red.
Yep.
I think that's a boss from Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Like from the past.
Yep. Nope, you're right.
You put the bombs mark
Yep.
and it blows his mask.
Yep.
This guy has a flotation device.
Look at that. Look at that, dude. He's on his lifeguard chair.
Because I thought crocodiles could swim already, but I think He's trying to help other people.
Well, he swims so well that
Yeah, he's helping
he
other
got the
people.
job.
So like
His lifeguard training was actually really quick. You know, he passed
See,
flying
the really
colors.
important thing there is that we noticed that he is a crocodile and not an alligator.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
This is why we...
You know what? Actually, I've asked that question, and I think he is actually an alligator.
No, don't say that, dude.
He's too old.
Yeah.
Because alligators are much more lethal, but something tells me this.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we
Big
go.
fight. Rumble leads the charge here. The ultimate. White, though, not going down here. And OMG, I got ganked. Gets turned around on here. Shutdown going on to Renekton here. Went a little bit too deep on that Kog'Maw. Like you said, that peel's so strong here. Little Spiderling jumping forward. Oh, my goodness. And Mr. Jiggly on a rampage picks up the Lee Sin as he was almost on base. Just got a feel for that Lee Sin. Getting so close, yet so far. And will go down here. Are they actually going to turn around and grab a Baron here? Beautiful stuff. We're going to go see a replay of that fight as Baron will be attempted here. Two great champions for Baron, by the way, in Kog'Maw and Karthus. As that goes on, though, we see the box jumps forward here, and Rumble kind of goes on the front line, and we will see eventually Renekton go so hard here. That wave, definitely Renekton riding that one as he is a lifeguard. And watch White, though. Almost gets dropped here. Rumble steps forward, looks for that kill, but gets kicked off of him. Really well played. Meanwhile, it's going to be Renekton that drops and the Rumble here. And of course, Lee Sin, you see him trying to go back here. Not going to be enough as Karthus will just pick him up with that ultimate eventually as Cocoon goes out and whiffs.
You can see the way the Karthus played that zone control, though. That's kind of what I was saying, the way that they're not going to be able to get through and like get a kill because there's so much safety. There's such a safety net around the Kog'Maw. Like, you're not going to have a Lucian running into a Karthus. As long as the Karthus stays by Kog'Maw, he's fine.
Yeah.
And he just destroys your team with this insane scaling. So really, really, really fantastic comp coming out of Red Side. I'm really impressed with their I don't know if it's called meta game. Just their understanding of comps, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. It's impressive. These guys definitely play together.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you, though. I definitely agree that there are 4 champions on this team that work fantastically together. And I keep ripping on him, but seriously, I don't think Rumble fits nearly as well as somebody else would.
It's not bad. You can see how he built the Rylai's, so it does synergize with the Karthus. And I mean, the ults, like the Nami ult and the Rumble ult. Oh! Got the Lee Sin going in. They're trying to make something against the Baron
Speaking about Rumble ults, he's going to start things up here. And Lee Sin kicks him through the Rumble ult. Still taking damage. Doctor, though, going to start things up with a kill on White, though. And Doctor gets Morgana ultimate, so he's going to drop Wrath as well. One last shot. Long range from Signature, who is probably going to die in the end of this one. Gets dropped. Renekton extremely low right now, and everybody just trickling into this fight right now. Another kill for Kog'Maw, though, with that Acathian surprise. Really well done. Picks himself up a double kill, and in the end, it's a 4 for 2. Really well played. 4-2, 420. These guys are going for the prize pool.
I think the big reason that Rumble does fit in well here is because his ult is zone control as well, you know what I mean? And when you have a non-mobile carry like Kog'Maw, sort of creating more space where you're safe and less space for them to actually come at you, it just kind of reduces the chance for mistakes, you know what I mean? So like you have that Rumble ult cutting off half the jungle fight, and you have the Karthus sitting there and the wall cutting off the other half. It makes sense to me. It wouldn't be as good as, you know, something like I don't know, with Jax, obviously. He's not quite the same kind of carry, but in terms of this team comp, I think it fits pretty well.
Yeah. Now, I want to point out here that Elise, right now, she's kind of showing like she's building 2 different ways. She could be building Rylai's or Randuin's. My guess is going to be the Randuin's.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that blasting one's going to be turned into, as typically the Elise build stops building damage after the Spell Pen Boots and the Leandri's Torment, so I have no idea what that's going to turn into.
Actually, what I really hope he builds is a Banner of Command. As anyone who plays with me knows, I'm like a super high advocate of the Banner of Command Elise. There we go. Got a team fight coming in, though.
Yeah, it's going to break out here. Renekton on the back lines, and Doctor taking a full culling to the face here. Renekton is going to get away from this one. Sonic Coconut, beautifully done. Nice flash, though, from Doctor. Really well timed. And Jiggly trying to die in a good spot. And watch this ultimate, though. 3 kills. Is the Morgana shield going to be enough? Nope.
You see the way that he played. Like, they know exactly how to work as a team to make sure that the goal of their comp is accomplished.
Brutal. And by the way, the Karthus ultimate went through the full Morgana shield and a couple hundred HP. So we're seeing now, after that death cap, you know, Karthus just he gets the job done, man.
Just so you guys know that I'm not trolling, Banner of Command increases Elise's Spiderling's damage by 15% because they are technically kind of his minions.
Wow.
So I'm not trolling. I've seen Dexter do it, and he's a pretty good Elise player.
Here's the Blitzcrank hook over the wall. I don't know why they waited there
they
for
need
so long.
Blitz, not Rumble. You know?
Yeah, so they're gonna get in there at the very least, and those Spiderlings.
This could be a mistake from Red Team. They did definitely overstay.
Yeah, and there's gonna be one kill going down here for sure onto Doctor, but no! Oh, there's the binding. Thought he was gonna get away from that for a second. Everybody else though is gonna run away from this one. Why though? Jumps over the wall. It's not gonna be enough though. I think he probably would have been better off just going straight forward and dropping a ward, not jumping over a wall, and just going straight at the Rumble here. He's going to pick up the red buff, though, on the back foot here. 14-19, the kill score, and 39.2 to 46.3. In your opinion here, Muskie, is there anything that blue side can do to turn this one around?
I think they had their chance early, and it was kind of like a timer, like a countdown to where they lost a lot of their opportunity to win. I mean, sure, if LeBlanc gets a couple kills and she's able to pick up the items she needs, but even still, she's going for a death cap now. She's not going to be able to kill a Kog'Maw with a DFG. It's just, unfortunately, I think they missed their window. And it says a lot to Red Team's ability to kind of control the early game. And it might not seem like it, but that first 10 minutes, them not getting rolled by the Lee Sin jungle and like the kind of the Lucian Morgana lane where they had the ability to create pressure and push them in and make dives and make plays, them not being able to take advantage of that just allowed the other team to kind of come into their team comp and, you know, have a pretty easy win, to be honest. Jiggly farmed really well and is able just to walk in front of his team, be a tank who does a million damage. Everyone's just running away from him, while Kog'Maw, with however much range it is, it's like 850, something like that, just shreds apart your team.
Yeah, and you know, going back to that Lee Sin point, and prepare yourselves for the puns here. But in the last game, honestly, Doctor played so good. He put on an absolute clinic, but not taking the Doctor's orders. This Lee Sin player not doing quite as well. You're welcome.
Yeah, they're not doing what they need to do, unfortunately. But I think this team has a really good shot of making it the whole way in the tournament. So it could just be like maybe they're playing like the David versus Goliath matchup here, you know, right now, and maybe they have so many good players. They have the box. They have all these really high elo players that I think it's just that Red Team is so good at playing together as a team. I'm fanboying on these guys hard. I do it every time. I love the way they play. Love the way they play.
And here comes the Lee Sin trying to get onto Signature, who is just ripping this Renekton, and that's what he is, man. He's a tank shredder. So, you know, Renekton gets caught out a little bit there. LeBlanc not able to jump over that wall, unfortunately. Docta not finding with the enemy team here, as all 5 of them are under turret. Beautiful Rumble ultimate, and that Nami ult as well to finish things up. Here comes the Karthus ultimate as well. Brutal damage being done here. Wrath now walking around, still has ultimate in his kit available. It's just not going to be enough. You don't want to use the Morgana ultimate on just one character. Kog'Maw ripping forward here. Gets that last super critical hit there, and that will be GG more likely than not, as they're going to push in here, wait for the minion wave to come in onto the Nexus, which is backed up pretty far, so they're going to need to wait a little bit, but 4 votes for the surrender.
Should just leaves the game. Wow.
Brutal stuff, and you know, that's Zolg, man. You're fanboying about their teamwork, but they play so good.
It's as someone who is like just loves like the kind of the finer points of the game, having team comps like that just fucking gets me excited. Love it. Big fan. I'm sorry, I'm gushing. I'm like getting all excited, and you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, there's definitely
nerd chills. You know.
There's definite reason for it.
Sorry. Yeah, I would love to see.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at what went down in that last fight there.
Rumble ult though.
Yeah, really, really well played. And I was saying the whole time, so that right there, I think he must have heard my cast and saying like he doesn't fit the comp.
He's like, listen here, Frank.
Here we go. That engaged. Nami ultimate with a Rumble ultimate, and then of course, honestly, it was just 3 buttons that decided the fate of 3 characters on the enemy team. Just not good enough there, and it was kind of brutal that Morgana couldn't get involved there as well. Renekton trying to go deep here, but that tank shredder, though, Signature, even tanking turrets.
See, that's the beauty of that kind of comp, is that even though it is so good defensively, when you get ahead, you're able to use it in that way. Like, obviously, Elise can dive whenever. Like, Nami ult is such a good tool for diving. Rumble ult such a good tool for diving. Karth is such a good tool for diving.
Nasty. Nasty
really,
stuff.
really great teamwork coming out of Red Side. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it the whole way through. After seeing 2 games like that, I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Although, I mean, there's still 3 other teams that we haven't seen yet.
There is.
And,
for sure. I hope it's the same high quality play in every game that we see. That'd make for a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, it would. All right, so I think we're gonna be trying to hop into the next game relatively soon. Break. We're gonna go on break though.
Yep, absolutely.
Good timing for it. As
timing.
I gotta use that washroom.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope we're giving you some insightful commentary and maybe a couple laughs, and I'll see you in a bit. Are you? Good. Good.
We have a fucking Dota player sitting behind. Actually, no, he's a StarCraft player sitting behind us, but he's learning.
Could be worse. He's not a COD player.
Oh,
Those are fighting words.